Well, hello everybody, and I hope you are having a nice Friday night across the Magnolia State. We got some thunderstorms out there in northwestern Mississippi over in the Delta. We'll look at those here just shortly. But overall, this is not a severe weather stream. Right now, this is simply a look at tonight's weather and then tomorrow's weather. As we know, severe weather will be moving into the Magnolia State here over the next 24 hours or so. And so that's what we're looking at for now. We'll dive into what's going on actually in Mississippi right now. We have one special weather statement, and that spans from Cleveland and Rouville along Mississippi Highway 8 all the way down through Moorhead and all the way down near Belzona and near Shula, where we have a heavy thunderstorm dropping plenty of lightning and heavy rain across portions of Sunflower County. Now, there's also another area between Leland and Hollandale along Highway 61. There's some lightning associated with this and some heavy rain, but overall, nothing severe and really no severe storms in Mississippi at all right now. If we look at the special weather statement, 40-mile-an-hour winds, quarter size hail, not quarter size hail, quarter of an inch hail. So definitely this storm's way below severe limits. So just a special weather statement on that. Really, the National Weather Service just saying, hey, this is a strong thunderstorm, but nothing severe. And so that's where we're sitting at tonight. Gonna have a few rumbles of thunder throughout the night tonight. You also got some small showers up towards Lafayette County, towards Oxford, and then also south near Water Valley. These have no lightning with them, just small little downbursts spanning basically from Sardis Lake all the way down to near Coffeyville. And so that's really all we have across Mississippi tonight, looking down towards the coast, not seeing anything near the coast at all. But for tonight, that's all we're seeing is those thunderstorms up in Sunflower County and surrounding areas. But here's what we got to look at. If we go and look at tomorrow's risk, this is what we're talking about. Areas in the yellow here across Mississippi. I'll actually try to make this look a little better for you all. So here we go. So this is tomorrow's risk, where we have a slight risk for severe weather across most of Mississippi. And so this includes northern Mississippi, portions of central Mississippi, and then also portions of southern Mississippi. So lots of Mississippi included in this slight risk for severe weather, but also all of Mississippi is in a severe weather risk. So even if you're not in the yellow area, which is a level 2 out of 5 for tomorrow, everybody's still in the 1 out of 5 marginal risk for severe weather. And so that means that the entire state is under a severe weather risk. And so you might think, oh, that's only a level 1 out of 5. Well, we had a major tornado up in Michigan that was in a marginal risk. That was in a marginal risk for severe weather today. So you got to take any severe weather risk seriously, because stuff can happen in a marginal risk. So with that being said, severe weather possible across all of Mississippi tomorrow, and we'll get into timing on that here very soon. This marginal risk is not marginal risk. This slight risk is wind driven. If I click over here and we go to the wind risk lines up perfectly with the slight risk area. The wind risk spans all the way from northern Mississippi to southern Mississippi. This is a damaging wind threat. This is driven by straight line winds. And so what are severe winds? Severe winds are winds in excess of 58 miles per hour, which is generally going to be about that 60-mile-an-hour threshold. And that's what the National Weather Service issues surrounding regions across the state in a 5% risk for winds. But just know this is primarily a slight risk driven by damaging winds. The next would be the hail threat. We have a 5% hail threat across all of Mississippi. This simply means that some of these storms are going to produce severe hail, which is hail an inch or bigger in diameter. That's what we're looking at across the state in terms of hail tomorrow. But here's one that everyone really wants to know. What about tornadoes? Well, we have a tornado threat across, I'd say, about 85% of the state tomorrow. I can totally see this risk becoming bigger in terms of expanding into more portions of southern Mississippi tomorrow. I could also possibly see a 5% tornado risk get issued for portions of northern and central Mississippi tomorrow. We're really going to have to wait and see what the Storm Prediction Center says with these storms tomorrow. But just know, most of Mississippi, while it is a low 2% tornado risk, That is still there. We will be live covering the possibility of tornadoes, covering severe thunderstorms. We will be here sitting out the storms, live streaming for you, the people of Mississippi, because I think many areas of Mississippi do not have proper weather coverage, but we will be here from start to finish covering the state of Mississippi. So it's going to be a very long night, and it kind of sucks because it's spring break, and so all my help is kind of gone for tomorrow night. I might get some help remotely, but overall, it's going to be me sitting here giving you the weather all day tomorrow. And so that's where we're sitting at right now. New tornado watch issued over in Iowa and Nebraska, but that is just the weather that's going on tonight. Tomorrow night is going to be when everything happens for us here in Mississippi. And so that's where we're sitting with the tornado risk. I'll once again zoom it out to the overall risk. Remember, yellow area, slight risk, a level 2 out of 5. This includes, I'll go into areas here. It includes Natchez, Brookhaven, Hazelhurst, Laurel, Jackson, Vicksburg, Meridian, Philadelphia, Yazoo City, Greenville, Greenwood, Starkville, Grenada, Clarksdale, Oxford, Tupelo, New Albany, Hernando, Tunica, most of the state in that slight risk, but even areas like Hattiesburg, Gulfport, and Corinth in that marginal risk. So that's where we're sitting. And so now it's time to start diving down into our risk for tomorrow. Let me pull up the models here just real quick, and we'll start diving down into this tomorrow. And so here's where we sit. We'll start out with the reflectivity across the area and what we're going to see. From what I saw, I think we're expecting storms to start firing up around noon. I think that's whenever storms will begin moving into northern Mississippi. Let's look at here. Might get some scattered showers in northwestern Mississippi by about 8 a.m. or so. But overall, none of those will be to severe limits. We do not see the risk of really any severe weather moving in until, let's see, this is about 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Sorry, not 11 p.m. So this would be storms beginning to move into northwestern Mississippi about 11 a.m. or so. So this will kick off near midday. That's when we will probably start going live, is around 11 to 10 a.m. or 11 to 12 a.m. So, or 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So around that lunchtime hours when storms will begin moving in. And playing that forward, by time we get to, this is 3 p.m. By 3 p.m., we already have a strong squall line into north central Mississippi. This is by 3 p.m. So a very early start to the day across Mississippi. I know normally most of our stuff is getting into the night, but this is mid-afternoon. We're already going to have a strong line of storms across northern Mississippi. And so why is that an issue here? Well, let me pause this. This is a problem because if we look at the temperatures, temperatures are going to be in the 80s across northern Mississippi whenever this line starts moving in. Plenty of fuel for these storms to just rapidly intensify. And really, if we look at this, we'll go into the science of this real quick, but I want to focus on this right here. This is the estimated parcel trace for a particle of air, or for an air parcel. 82 degrees, 65 degree dew point. This shows a surface-based CAPE of nearly 2,200 joules per kilogram. I don't know how to explain that to you, but that is a lot of energy in the atmosphere to basically fuel these thunderstorms. We have lots of energy with these storms. The next thing I want to point out is, really, we're seeing lots of rotation as we go up in the atmosphere. Not the best looking photograph here. This is this area over here. Not the best looking photograph overall, but in the first 3 kilometers of the lower atmosphere, we have plenty of rotation there. And so that's what we have to look at. It's overall not the best conditions for tornadic activity, but in the lower levels of the atmosphere where a tornado would be, we're seeing plenty of CAPE in the lower levels and plenty of shear in the lower levels. So definitely, I personally want to watch the tornado threat tomorrow. I think that the tornado threat is higher than what it's looking like right now. As we go throughout the day, we're seeing temperatures uptrend, we're seeing moisture uptrending, and we're seeing shear uptrending. All ingredients for tornadoes. It's only a 2% risk right now, but I really think we'll see a 5% risk tomorrow across most of Mississippi, or not most of Mississippi, but northern and central Mississippi. And so that's where we're sitting at just 3 p.m. Simply at 3 p.m., we're already sitting with a tornado threat in northern Mississippi. And so as we go throughout the afternoon, this is sitting for right at, let's see, this would be, why am I struggling? Lunchtime, 4, 5. This would be 5 p.m. So by 5 p.m. here, sorry, I'm doing math in my head. No, what I just showed was 1 p.m., not 3 p.m. Sorry, having to do math here. So this is for 1 p.m. So even earlier. So 1 p.m. is when we're seeing that line into north central Mississippi. So then by time we get to about 3 p.m., here's 3 p.m. 3 p.m., that is starting to reach into portions of central Mississippi. So by the time we get into the mid-afternoon, these storms are already going to be into central Mississippi. And then even playing that forward, by 6 p.m., these storms have reached southern Mississippi. And if we look at the temperature at 6 p.m., I mean, temperature still in the mid to upper 70s across central Mississippi. And so, I mean, there's plenty of ingredients in the atmosphere to fuel thunderstorms. And so it does look like this will be a squall line type event. We're not really looking at any prefrontal supercells being a threat tomorrow. However, I mean, if you get one cell in the warm sector to pop off, we could easily see a tornado ahead of the line. Because, I mean, if we look at conditions ahead of the cold front, I mean, you have plenty of cape, plenty of that fuel we were talking about. The wind shear doesn't look the best, but the lower level wind shear is definitely there. 65 knots, not 65 knots, 65 SRH in the first 3 kilometers. So it's not the best system in the world in terms of tornadoes, but I think the tornado threat is higher than what it looks. I want to use an analog here real quick. This is going to be the significant tornado parameter, which is the STP. And as we play that forward throughout the day, we can see, I mean, not the greatest chances of a significant tornado tomorrow. I mean, we get some very low probabilities across Mississippi, but really, that fires up primarily for northern Mississippi and then fires up once again for southern Mississippi throughout the night around 6 p.m. So really, I think we're going to have to keep our eyes on this system from about 11 a.m. to right at 6 p.m., maybe a little after. It's going to be a long day. So I just want to make sure my timing was right on that real quick. We see storms moving into portions of northern Mississippi by, right at 11 a.m. So that was correct. 11 a.m. is when we're going to see storms moving in, and they will really move out around, I'd say, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, or Sunday morning, I should say. So a long system here. Kind of the front stalls out near the Gulf Coast tomorrow night around 9 p.m. And so that's going to allow these storms to get some more fuel into them before they hit our coastal 6 counties. But overall, I mean, this system tomorrow, it's only a slight risk across most of Mississippi. Right now, a marginal risk for that coastal area. So not expecting too much severe weather down there. But overall, I think this is definitely a system to watch. It's hard to explain from meteorological terms what exactly we're expecting with this system. Just know that the ingredients are sort of there to support severe weather. It's not the best looking system in the world, but it can definitely get the job done. And so if we're looking at it here from a big perspective, tomorrow, let's go to lunchtime tomorrow. This is at lunchtime tomorrow. We're not really seeing a whole lot from the 300 millibar. This is from the upper air maps. We're not seeing a lot in terms of jet streaks, but one thing to notice here is that we're seeing diffluence across Mississippi. We're seeing winds separate in the upper levels. So down here across Mississippi, we're having a separation of winds in the upper levels. And so usually you want to see an area kind of getting impacted by like we're seeing the yellows and reds up here into portions of Canada. So that is a jet streak. Normally you want influence from a jet streak for severe weather. But another thing that can help support severe weather is diffluence aloft, or diffluence in the upper atmosphere, which is where you have winds basically separating with height. And so what that does is whenever you have winds separating with height, you're forcing air underneath to fill in. It's kind of like a vacuum. And so whenever you have those winds separate with height or separate up in the upper atmosphere, winds underneath must fill in. That creates rising motion. And so that's one of the factors we're seeing tomorrow. Next, at the 500 millibar level, we're seeing kind of the same thing. This is kind of one of the killers with the system in terms of what's hindering it. We get a few short waves in northern Mississippi tomorrow. You can see it right here. Northern Mississippi under the influence of this massive 500 millibar jet streak. But overall, the 500 millibar level is not really what's fueling this system all too much, but we are getting some rising motion, especially in northern Mississippi with this system around lunchtime. And so that will help fuel this system. It's not the most impressive thing in the world with the 500 millibars, but we are seeing a little bit of rising motion there in the mid levels. So then, if we move down to the surface, this would be what I want to look at next. And we look at the sea level pressure. So basically where that low is going to form. So the low pressure system that is going to impact us tomorrow is currently over portions of western Oklahoma. And you can see it right here, over portions of northern Oklahoma, or western Oklahoma. And that's going to move off to the northeast overnight. And so as that moves off to the northeast, it's going to have a big trailing front behind it. And so by lunchtime tomorrow, that low pressure system's already into portions of Canada north of New York. But what does this mean? Well, we're going to have lots of disturbance over Mississippi. You can see kind of some squiggly lines down here. It's hard to see, but we're having surface disturbance with this system. And so that's going to help also create some more rising motion for this system. And so why is this system so hard to explain? Well, it's not your normal low pressure system you get down here in Mississippi. Normally, we get that warm sector, that nice warm sector with a low that comes down from maybe Texas. But we're not really playing with that today. If we go back to regional view and we go to Mississippi, we get a warm sector tomorrow. Sorry, I'm on the wrong radar here. Let's go back to the HRRR real quick. So we go back to this tomorrow. And so we're not getting that classic warm sector. You can see it's already hot across Mississippi. And so that heat's just going to build tomorrow as this cold front comes through. Temperatures are going to be into the mid 80s across portions of Mississippi tomorrow. And honestly, they might get a little bit higher than that. But then we get a cold front that comes through. Temperatures are going to crash into next week. But that's not really our main focus right now. And this is really a double cold front type system. But, even Sunday is going to recover into portions of Mississippi with 60s and 70s. So it's not a very strong cold front. But overall, you do have the clashing of boundaries that's going to really fuel this severe weather risk tomorrow. Because, even if we look at the dew points, we're not really crashing hard in dew points either. You can obviously see the front here across portions of central Mississippi. But overall, this is not going to be the strongest front that you've ever seen in your life. So very not weak severe weather risk, but not the biggest risk ever in the world. But that's just where we're sitting with this. We can go back to the SPC outlook just real quick. And so with the SPC outlook, like I said, most of Mississippi in that slight risk. The rest of Mississippi still in a severe risk, a marginal level 1 of 5 risk. But that's where we're sitting right now. That's all I wanted to cover. I'll do another one of these tomorrow, probably in the morning, and then another one near lunchtime as we prepare for severe weather tomorrow. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'm going to do everything I can to keep everyone informed on what we're looking at tomorrow. I am expecting the tornado risk to increase tomorrow. That is expected, at least from my point of view. And so we're going to have to wait and see. We'll be here covering the tornado threat and the any severe weather risk tomorrow. So thank you for watching. I'm student meteorologist Ashton Champion, and thank you for watching Magnolia State Weather. I hope to see y'all tomorrow for our severe weather coverage. Make sure to share us. Make sure to tell us or tell people about us. We're trying to grow quick. But thank you guys, and God bless, and I hope y'all stay safe. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.